the channel. My name is Michelle, and that adorable dog that jumped out of the teardrop with me was Phoebe. And usually you can find us on the road, traveling, adventuring, hiking all around Arizona, Colorado, Utah, and hopefully beyond. But today's episode's just a little bit different because I'm so excited to show you around our brand new teardrop camper. She's here. All right, before we get into the tour, I did want to go over why I chose a teardrop camper in hopes that this could help answer some questions for other people who are in similar situations like myself. If you're just here for the teardrop tour and you don't care about why or some of the features and the benefits of a teardrop camper, go ahead and go to this timestamp below, and that is where the tour starts. So why a teardrop camper? So I work from home. I work a corporate 8 to 5, and my entire org is remote. It's one of the reasons I chose the job. This happened well before COVID, but I always had this dream of spending summers away from the Arizona heat with fiends. And I wanted to spend time in Colorado and Utah and Flagstaff for weeks at a time, disappearing from the oppressive heat. But I quickly learned that very first summer working remote that Airbnbs are really expensive, hotels are really expensive, and I couldn't show up the way that I personally needed to show up at work, working from a car or a tent. I lead meetings. I am the director of a PMO. And so I'm leading meetings, I'm coordinating things, I'm on with a lot of stakeholders, and yes, you can have blurred out backgrounds, but if you move just right, you could see a tent, or you could see a tree, or you could see something that very much showed that I was not at home and not even in a real solid work location. So it just didn't work for me. And at the time, van life really seemed like my only other option. And the barrier to entry for van life was just too high for me. The cost of a van, the maintenance of a van. I don't want to do this full time. I love having my home and having my home base. This is just something I want to do part of the time, and it's something that I want to do on my vacations. It's not something that I wanted full time. So maintaining a house and owning a van just was way too far out of my reach and just really out of the comfort zone of anything I wanted to do. So I kind of felt at the time like, well, I don't really know what my options are, that this could actually work for me to be gone. So I kind of let it go for a couple of years until the end of 2022, when it was just really starting to dawn on me that I wanted these memories with Phoenix and my dog Phoenix, Feeny. His real name's Phoenix. I call him Fiends all the time, so people forget that his name's actually Phoenix, and then I live in Arizona, so it gets a little confusing if you're new here. But I wanted to spend these summers and these times away with Fiends, and summers are just getting harder and harder for us. He's highly active. So it just started really weighing on me that like this was a dream of mine, and I really wanted to figure out how I was going to make it come true. So in typical project manager fashion, I went to work and I said, okay, what would I need to make this happen, and what would I want in terms of solutions to make this happen? So needs, the first one was a reliable, appropriate place to work. So that meant I needed something with hard sides, something with doors that I could shut, drown out noise, something that had a nice wall behind me that was innocuous, that even if I blurted out and moved, you wouldn't really be able to tell where I was from or where I was working from, and something that was just protected from all the elements so that I could have a consistent, reliable place to work. The second was indoor-outdoor. I can work outside, so I want to be able to work outside, but I also want that option to go back inside as well. Power is another huge thing. I was always trying to figure out my Jackery and how much that could hold, or my grow watt, whichever form I was using at the time, like how much that could hold for my router, Wi-Fi, things like that. So consistent, reliable power was also a very, very big need, because I didn't want to mess up and not have enough power and have to be traveling in and miss meetings and so on and so forth. And then the final, because I drive a small SUV, a Subaru Crosstrek, if it was a towable, it had to be really light, because my towing capacity is 1,500 pounds. So I needed light and maneuverable, as well as the fact that I tend to go down dirt roads and I wanted it small and compact and lightweight so that I could confidently do that. So that was the need to make this happen. But what about the want? I travel all the time. This is supposed to be something that enhances my life, and what do I want out of it? Well, the hard sides were a huge one for want as well. I just personally feel safer in a hard side. It's why I tend to sleep in my car, especially in backcountry. I just feel a little bit safer. I also wanted a towable. I knew that from the very beginning because I wanted something that I could leave. I wanted to be able to take my car and not have to drive my home down dirt roads, and I wanted to be able to access places that I couldn't in a drive unit. So towable was huge from the beginning, even before I thought about what I wanted. I wanted built-in storage. I am very tired of loading and unloading my car, and when I car camp, having to like make it up every time, and like all of my gear is in the car and I have to like move it out and then repack it up. So I wanted everything to have its own place and storage that was built in. And that also goes to the bed. I always wanted a made bed. I don't want to have to blow anything up. I don't want to have to worry about my hips digging on the ground anymore. I wanted an actual made bed that felt like home and felt cozy and I could just climb right into. So those were my needs and those were my wants. So once I had those all figured out, it was really a matter of looking at my budget and researching what was out there. Right around that time, I started seeing a lot of ads with Crosstreks towing these little teardrop campers. And I started looking into those because I hadn't really thought about teardrops, because the Nubos, I think they're called Nubos or Newbounds, and the beans are way too heavy. They come in at about 3,000 pounds for their main, for like their lowest tow capacity or overall weight, there we go. Just couldn't, I couldn't justify it. Even if you found like one of their older models that was a little bit more lightweight, it was still coming in at 1,500 pounds. And if you don't know, you don't want to max your tow capacity. So mine's 1,500 pounds. You don't want to get something that's 1,500 pounds because that's its dry weight. They say on average you put about 200 pounds of stuff in your RV or in your towable. So you want to at least give it that much room. And I wanted even more because I plan to go up mountain passes in Colorado. So I want to put as little strain on my vehicle as possible. So I was really looking at a very limited number of options in terms of towables. Right around that time though, I found the company TC Teardrops, and that is where I got my custom built teardrop from. They specialize in the smaller models, and most of the owners of TC, the company itself, and then TC Teardrop owners pull with either a Crosstrek or an Outback or a Forester. So they were meant for the Subarus, and I fell in love with the company. Todd and Carol, the owners, are so nice. I met them at Overland Expo last year. I asked them a gazillion dumb questions and they answered them all kindly. And literally the week after I met them, I put my deposit down on my custom build. So that is why I personally chose a teardrop, was because it gave me all of those things. I have hard sides. Once I upgrade with my zippered awning room, I will have indoor-outdoor space. I have my storage in the back. I have this amazing cushy bed, and then I do have onboard power, and this all wraps up in to a gross weight, a dry weight of 850 pounds. So I am coming in so far below. So even when I put my gear on here, I feel completely confident that my Subaru Crosstrek can tow this. So that is why I went with the teardrop. And now it is time to show you around my beautiful baby girl. Everybody, I want you to meet Pepper. So my garage is also my gym and also where I store my Christmas stuff. And this is just post-Christmas, so my stuff is not fully put away yet. So please disregard the mess. Let's continue the tour. All right, at the very front of the trailer, we do have this beautiful tongue box that I went ahead and did the matching diamond plate, so it kind of blends in a little. And in this tongue box, We just have currently the battery box. That is all that is currently stored in here. My battery just came today, so we're gonna put that in there. That is a 100 amp hour lithium battery, so very lightweight, very tiny. It's a mini. And then the rest of this is gonna be my recovery gear, my stabilizers, all of that fun stuff. And I love having this lockable place to keep all of that stuff just stored and safe. All right, as we continue on the outside, the other pieces of custom that I got from their regular model is I went with these black Jeep fenders. I liked the square a little bit better because I will put my Dometic faucet here. You can guarantee there will be some bougie extra bourbon bars at some point, and you know I will be using this for all sorts of extraness. But it is also just an extra table, even to have like my lantern and flashlight at night when I'm in the camper. And then there's also an upgrade to the 15-inch wheels and the side spare mount. And these rims were the closest I could get to match mine on the Subaru. Right, and then up here I have the pre-installed Rhino racks, and I will be upgrading with front runner awning and awning room. So those are just pre-attached and ready for me for when I get that. All right, when we come to the back, here is where my galley is. Awesome spring loads. This is custom made to my fridge and stove. So here is my electric fridge that is pre-wired right there. And then this is for my single burner stove that I have. Pulls out, tucks in. And then I'm gonna plan to get bins for this. I measured already and kind of have been paying attention to my stuff. So we'll have bins for there, and I'll probably do the typical hashtag van life metal strip with my pretty spice jars here. I don't know, we'll figure it out. Under here is also quite a bit of storage that I have a Sadio box ready to go for, and that's where like my pots and pans will go. So all of that will go under there. And then there's this awesome pull-out table that just attaches right here, and that's your just extra workspace. And then of course you are slightly covered with this beautiful wood ceiling, and it is wired already for light. So once the battery is in, we will have that lit up. It's a little dark in here, so I'm using some extra lights to give you guys the vibe. So this is the interior. There's your windows with your screens. Beautiful back wall. I love all the wood. Beautiful ceiling. That side is wired for the fans. I just did one side fan because that's probably about where Feeny will sleep, on this side. So that way he's not going to be up against the door or up against a fan, so to speak. And then that little black box on the bottom there is your brake controller. It automatically adjusts the brakes on the trailer based on any condition. So that is wired into my battery. All right, so then here, so much storage, y'all. Look at that. Boom, beautiful amount of storage. And then here we have some plugs. We have USB, all sorts of funness. And then we have our voltometer. And last but not least, we have a little table. I will probably use this more for like my iPad when I'm watching movies, but it'd also be a great place to put my laptop if I am working inside and don't want to work on my little lap desk. So just a cute little extra. And then this is also wired with a light up there. So we won't need lights once I have my batteries. All right, that is the tour. She's tiny. She's 4x9, so she's a tiny little girl. So just, yeah, some of the stats. She's 4x9 original TC Teardrop model. Her gross weight is 850 pounds. The mattress is just shy of a full by like half an inch. So it is a custom 6-inch bougie, awesome mattress. Like you have no idea how excited I am for this. And I am so excited to make her mine. Like, I mean, even these little like silly sconces that I got, like, I'm just so excited to make her a home on wheels. You know, she may not be a van that I'm living in and turning into my full-time home, but she's my little home on wheels, and I'm so excited to turn her in to a Michelle mobile, a Michelle and Feeny mobile. But I wanted to show her to you guys plain before I decked her out. So this won't be a normal like every week series, but I definitely will be walking you guys through some of the things I do because I am learning so much, y'all. Like, I've never towed a light vehicle. Like, that sounds funny because I've towed really big things with other really big things, but for some reason, towing with my car and like my little dream on wheels here, I'm super nervous. So I've got to learn how to hook it up to the car. I just got my hitch installed, so once the battery is installed and wired to the brake controller, I can start towing her and getting used to her. And there are just things that I want to document for my own, but also so maybe I can inspire y'all to do things that scare you, because that's what life's all about, is getting a little bit out of your comfort zone. And so I just want to bring you along, but I'll still be interspersing adventures between these videos. The next one we'll do is probably going to be a moving in day, and then I've got some custom things, custom bathroom tent that I want to like DIY with you guys. I'm horrible at DIY, so it's probably going to be a lesson in like don't IY, but we're going to try. And that's what this channel's, you know, that's what this little mini series is going to be about. But I can't wait to take her on the first adventure and bring you along and just share this adventure with you and just share the changes and hopefully all the amazing work from the road trips that we're gonna have this year and into next year. And I'm just so grateful and happy to be able to give Fiends that life. And if you're wondering why he's just not like hanging in here, I don't have my stabilizers down or my front wheel stabilized, so it moves around quite a bit, and with the force he jumps in, it kind of rattles back and forth, and he's not a huge fan of that, but we're slowly getting better with it. But he's just not gonna hang in it till I have it stabilized. When everything's down, he jumps in and out just fine, but I just don't keep it down for storage. So anywho, I'm rambling now. I hope you enjoyed our little mini tour, and I will see you guys on our next adventure, wherever the road may take us. See you then.